Deep in your heart, you feel this urge to catch all the anime. Hey rabbits, it's Trixie, and it feels so good to sit in this chair again. I had the flu for the last 2 weeks, so I was basically in bed the whole time. It was just not getting better, so I'm really happy that I now recovered. My voice still sounds a bit differently, but at least I'm back to feeling human. So let's just dive into making videos again. Today's video is gonna deal with German animal names that are also verbs for themselves. So basically I'm gonna tell you something about VERBS or animerbs. Gee, I buffaloed so much for this stupid test. Stop vulturing my chicken wings like that. Hey sweetheart, do you want a bird tonight? Yes, these are all things that you can say in German. And there are many more. So stay tuned and find out more in today's episode. Without further ado, here are 10 German animerbs. First up, tigern, to tiger, which means that you walk around nervously. Like when you finally texted your crush if he wants to go to the movies tonight and you haven't heard back from him even though 3.5 minutes have passed already, and you walk around freaking out, starting to question your whole pathetic existence. Never happened to me before. You're like a tiger waiting for food, plodding from one side of the cage to the other. I also used to tiger a lot when I'm on the phone with somebody. Instead of just sitting down on the couch all cozy and relaxed, I always wander around aimlessly in my flat. Number 2, geiern, to vulture, which means that you have your eyes glued to something that you want. You're begging to get something. Like if you have a pet and you're having dinner with your family and the cat or dog sits next to you on the floor looking up to your plate like this. I am cute. Can I have that? That's geiern at its best. You want something so bad that you start looking like a vulture circling over a dying buffalo. Speaking about buffaloes, there's also the German word Büffin, to buffalo. It means to study very hard and ambitiously to take a difficult test, for example. However, it has a rather negative connotation because it implies that you had to work like a maniac and under a lot of pressure instead of taking your time and memorizing the things carefully. So basically, Büffin means that you study so hard that you turn into an animal. Math turned me into a buffalo last night. Buffalo girl! Let's continue with a very small animal. Hamstern, to hamster, means to hoard something. If you hamster, then you are like a hamster, shoving everything in your huge hamster cheeks. This particularly describes people who like to buy stuff in pellets, like buy 10 cans of mustard and you get one free. So they buy all of this mustard to store it in their cellars for bad times or just later. And most of the time they end up with a lot of stuff they don't actually need. But they are hamsters, and hamsters, just their lifestyle. Next up, in English you can say that something bugs you, if something bothers you. In German it's not quite the same. It's not käfern, it's wurmen, to worm somebody. Es wurmt mich, dass wir dazu nicht auch käfern sagen. And I have to say that I like the German version a bit more, because I can simply imagine a worm doing more damage. When something bothers you, it's really difficult to think of something else. It's like a worm digging holes in your thoughts, and so you have to catch the worm and solve the problem to make your head work again. And even though this sounds a bit disgusting, it's pretty much what I feel when something bothers me, when I cannot get something off of my head. But sometimes it's really difficult to catch this worm that bothers us, so we get into a really bad mood because of a problem we can't solve. And especially girls tend to become a bit bitchy when that happens. In German, this behavior of bitching around can be referred to as zicken, she-goating. It's not really a question of logic or reasoning. You just have to get all of this anger off your chest, and you know it's just a weird mood that's gonna pass, but it's a really terrible feeling. So why is this called to goat in German? Well, it makes a lot of sense because you actually start sounding like a goat when you are in this mood. At least that must be what your boyfriend/husband/partner hears.
Ich habe dir 1000-mal gesagt, dass du dein nasses Handtuch nicht aufs Bett schmeißen sollst, wenn du mit dem Duschen fertig bist. Und das Geschirr liegt auch immer noch da. Das ist da seit
It's just like, don't mind my wife, she's just goating around again. Do you know what's a funny German slang verb for to puke? You can say to heron, reiern. This verb basically derives from the fact that birds are a bit disgusting. They actually feed their babies with their vomit. I mean, this could be any bird, it's not just herons, but have you ever seen Papa Bird feeding one of his babies? It's like... It may be a very efficient way to do that, but it doesn't look pleasant. Anyway, I like the word reiern because it just sounds like what it describes. We all know what it sounds like when you drank too much on a party and the next morning you wake up next to the toilet and... Reiern. From one kind of bird to birds in general. I think I don't have to tell you what the German verb vögeln means, right? What? You don't know vögeln yet? Well, it's a slang word for to have sex, like find a nice, lovely woman and marry her. The word derives from the Middle High German term vogeln or vogelen, which means to mate, back then only referring to horny birds, or simply to catch birds. But for some weird reason, and it's a tinge darker in my soul since I've read that, the bird is also a symbol for the human penis. Yeah, I mean, the feathers, the beak, the wings, the whole flying part, the resemblance is truly uncanny. Anyway, this is how one thing came to another. Let's finish this kind of freaky video with two breeds of dogs. The first one being der Dackel. You can say Dackeln in German to Dachshund when you're walking really slowly, taking your time, not being in a rush at all. I like this verb a lot because that's what dachshunds normally do, especially the ones on the other end of really old people. It's like they adapt to this super slow lifestyle and as if they live in a parallel universe where time doesn't exist. Hashtag Dachshund time travelers. Let's make this a thing. Second dog breed and last verb for this video, mopsen, to pug. Mopsen can either mean that you are bored or it can mean to sneak something away.
Wer hat schon wieder meine Zahnbürste gemopst, damit Hundescheiße von seinen Schuhen gekratzt und sie dann zurück in den Becher gestellt? Leute, wer hat schon wieder meinen Joghurt gemopst? Wer hat meine Lieblingsbluse gemopst? Wer hat meinen Mops gemopst?
Ach ja. Flatmates. Alright, Rabbits, I really hope that you enjoyed this little video. Were you surprised by some of the animerbs I presented to you? What other animerbs do you know, be it in German or in any other language? I would really like to hear all of them. Let's collect all the animerbs. Let's catch them all and make animerbs the next Pokemon. All we need is a catchy title song. You're not into sports, not into reading, not into herbs. The only thing you care about our animerbs. Only one last thing to say. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up because that would make me really happy. If you want to watch another video of Don't Trust the Rabbit here, right here is one that you should definitely click on. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram or Facebook, or even support the channel on Patreon, which would mean so much to me. Now I wish you all a very beautiful day. Check out my other videos if you'd like to, and hopefully we are gonna see each other in my next video. Bye!